You ever see someone do something absolutely incredible, just really inspiring, only to watch them turn right around and completely sabotage themselves? It's one of those human things that just doesn't make sense. Well, today, we're diving into a story about a king whose life is a perfect, if tragic, example of this very problem.
So let's meet our main character, King Joash of Judah. He starts his reign with this massive, noble project. He decides to restore the sacred temple, which was, the very heart of the nation's faith. And we're not talking about a fresh coat of paint here. This was a huge deal. A ton of money, time, and national effort went into it. By all accounts, a truly great act.
And then something happens that just makes your jaw drop. An enemy king shows up and threatens the city. And what does Joash do? The same guy who poured all that effort into the temple? He walks in, strips it of every single piece of gold, and just hands it all over to the enemy as a bribe. Just like that, the treasure he worked so hard to restore is gone.
Right? It's just a crazy contradiction. How do you go from being the temple's greatest champion to the guy who plunders it? How can those two actions come from the same person? It seems totally baffling, but as we're about to see, there's a really powerful explanation behind it.
The key to unlocking this whole mystery, to understanding King Joash's behavior, is a concept called the divided heart. Think of it as the official diagnosis for his condition.
So what is a divided heart? Well, the idea is actually pretty simple, but man, is it powerful. It's that internal tug of war. A part of you genuinely wants to do the right thing, to follow God. But there's another part, a really strong part, that's pulling in the opposite direction, driven by what you want, your own comfort, your security, your ego. These two forces are just constantly at odds.
And listen, this internal battle is never a harmless stalemate. It's not stable. The end result is always the same: disaster. A divided heart is a fractured foundation, and eventually it is guaranteed to crumble.
Okay, so let's go back to King Joash. Let's put him under the microscope and see exactly how this divided heart led to his complete and total downfall.
And here's the crucial detail, the thing you have to understand about Joash. All his good deeds, his righteousness, it wasn't really his own. It was conditional. It lasted only as long as his mentor, the high priest Jehoiada, was there telling him what to do. His convictions were basically borrowed.
You can see his whole tragic spiral right here on this timeline. His reign starts off great, but then, bam, the turning point. His mentor, Jehoiada, dies. Suddenly, there's a vacuum. New officials show up, they start flattering him, telling him everything he wants to hear, and he just eats it up. That leads him to abandon the temple, start worshiping idols, and then, the final betrayal, he orders the murder of his own mentor's son.
I mean, just look at this contrast. The before and after is just stunning. With his mentor, he restores the temple. After his mentor dies, he abandons it. He goes from honoring the man to murdering his son. The person who devoted treasure to God is the same person who gives it away to an enemy. His divided heart had finally picked a side.
And this quote just cuts right to the bone. That word, hesed, it's more than just kindness. It means covenant loyalty, a deep, faithful, committed love. So Joash didn't just forget a nice favor someone did for him. He betrayed a sacred, lifelong bond. That's the real depth of the disaster.
Now, you might be thinking this is just one tragic story about one messed up king. But it's not a one-off thing. Let's look at our second case study, King Jehoahaz, who shows how a divided heart can play out in a totally different but just as destructive way.
See, Jehoahaz's problem wasn't a sudden flip from good to bad. His was a problem of constant nagging compromise. He would worship God, sure, but he also kept all the old idols from his family hanging around. He was always trying to have it both ways, to serve two masters.
And this compromise trapped him and his entire nation in this awful, repeating cycle. First, they'd sin and mess around with idols. Then, their enemies would come and oppress them. In total desperation, they'd cry out to God for help, and God, in His grace, would save them. But the moment they were safe, they'd go right back to the same old sin that started the whole mess.
And this shows us something really important about grace and consequences. Yes, God heard them. Yes, He saved them. But, and this is a huge but, that act of grace didn't just magically erase the consequences of their choices. There was still a very real price to be paid for their divided loyalty.
And what was that price? It was tangible, and it was devastating. The enemy king of Aram had so completely destroyed the army of Jehoahaz that he was left with just this, 50 horsemen. 50.
an entire nation's military reduced to almost nothing. That is the crushing cost of compromise.
So after hearing these two stories, what's the big takeaway? What's the ultimate lesson about the price of having this kind of internal division?
Well, it really boils down to 4 crucial lessons. First, partial commitment isn't some safe middle ground, it's a slow-motion train wreck. Second, flattery is so dangerous. King Joash started to believe his own hype, and it destroyed him. Third, God's grace is real, but it doesn't mean there are no consequences. And finally, the price you pay for a divided heart, it's just always too high. And this is such a powerful warning for us. It is so easy to look at our lives when things are going well and think, my little compromises aren't that big a deal. But we should never mistake God's patience for his approval. A season of success is absolutely no substitute for a heart that is completely and totally his.
And so this whole discussion about these ancient kings, it really brings the question right into our own lives. It forces us to look in the mirror and ask, what are my compromises? What are the idols I'm refusing to give up? Is there anything that has such a hold on me that it's keeping my own heart divided? That's definitely something worth thinking about.